Hey everybody, Mark and Melody here with another episode of The Whole Message where we teach you the intelligent side of eating healthy. And how have you been doing?
I've been doing great since I was eating an apple and I had some of the apple in my tooth.
I had just had an orange.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Healthy snacks.
Yeah. That's our candy.
It really is.
Doing great. What about you? What do you got?
Reading books.
Mark and I read in between all of our busy day trying to keep up with everything. I mean, even the World Health Organization put out not long ago that they just discovered that all this processed meat was causing cancer.
Just discovered, yeah, right.
Or they just admitted.
They just admitted, right. That's probably more like it.
And then I noticed, it came back in a little bit later, that they were kind of gingerly confessing that they maybe got a little harsh. So I'm thinking, okay, who got to them, the meat industry or the dairy industry? Yeah, it's amazing. What are you reading?
Well, this one right here, I'm reading the Low Carb Myth.
Oh, okay. I read the Starch Solution and the Dougal program.
There's a couple other ones too. There's one called the Low Carb Lie, and the Low Carb Fraud, I think, is by T. Colin Campbell. And,
yes.
But this one, the Low Carb Myth. Now, the Starch Solution really gives you a lot of facts about why you want to eat a high starch diet.
Okay.
Now, this book here, what they did was this, and look at all the. I mean, I've really been going through
Marking
this
it
book.
up.
Yeah.
Good for me.
And what they've really discovered here is you get these gurus that are paleo diet and eat lots of meats and proteins and all this. And they say, stay away from starches because they'll make you gain weight and they cherry pick. And the intelligent part, I mean, this thing has almost 500 sources of science behind it. And what's happened here is if you go on a low carb diet, you're going to lose weight.
Definitely.
But if you go on a low fat diet, you're going to lose weight.
Yes.
If you go on a low sugar diet, you're going to lose weight. And what they've discovered is it doesn't matter really what diet you go on, you're going to lose weight. And the reason is because you are limiting your
caloric intake,
food and calories. Right, exactly. And so if you lowered your calorie intake by a certain number, doesn't matter what food it is, you're going to lose weight. So they cherry pick. They're cherry picking the information to say, ooh, stay away from carbs because it makes you gain weight. But if you did the same thing with the fats, it would make you gain weight. If you added an extra 500 calories of sugar, it's going to make you gain weight. And I mean, this thing just beats up every single myth, every single lie about carbs out there. And then it's getting into the facts that the people that eat the carbs are the healthiest, they live the longest, they have the least amount of diseases. So, I mean, you can do weight loss by restriction. It's restriction.
It is a restriction.
By restricting certain food items, you're going to lose weight.
Well, I've done that I've dieted. I don't know, when you were overweight, did you try all these different diets? And I remember, the one I hated the most was one where we had points. And everything I ate had points, and you had to weigh the food. You had to measure the food.
Yes,
and like I'd start out on, let's say, 27 points. And that's what I got in a day. And by the end of the day, I had to get that 27 points in. And you're constantly, all day long, Mark, you're focusing on food.
Right.
You never have a break.
There's the girl out there on TV, I'm sure you've seen the infomercials, and she's got the different colored containers.
Yes.
Where this is your protein, this is your whatever.
Carbs, this is your fats, this is your vegetables.
It's just
and fruits.
another form of restriction to keep your calories down. And that's why you would lose weight on that.
Well, yeah. And then I can remember I'd lose weight that week, and the next week, you know what was dangerous? The next week I'd only have like 24 points.
Yeah. So here's all these gurus.
And I'm having all these points, and I'm like constantly thinking about food. What I love so much, Mark, about the lifestyle that I have chosen that has kept the weight off, which has maintained the weight and given me optimal health, is I don't count calories.
More food.
I don't weigh food. I don't do any of that.
Yeah.
I eat good, healthy food. I eat a lot of
complex. That has low calorie counts.
I eat a lot of complex carbohydrates. So it's hard to eat more than five 550 calories in a meal.
Yeah. So, but that's the whole point, is that, you know, a lot of these people who have their little special diets, it's all because they've got a system to reduce your calorie count. It has nothing to do with their food being healthier for you.
No, it's by far not healthy.
And this book just really tears it up. I mean, you're going to love this one.
Oh.
She gets it next as soon as I'm done with it here.
We swap these books because
yeah,
we're always, you know, I'll go through his book and I'll see where he's highlighted, and I might find something else or vice versa. That's what he says. Yeah, mark it up for me. I haven't marked in this one yet. But it's the information, and you will lose weight on these diets out there, but you will also lose your health.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
It's about health.
And when it comes to healthy lifestyles, the healthiest diet per se is the one that reduces the fats. You know, and eliminates those animal products. And there's no cherry picking that you can do about that. It just is what it is. When you look at every statistical fact, you look at every culture, you look at the science of the molecular structures and what it does to the cells of the body and everything, there's just no denying that your plant-strong, high-carb diets is your healthiest lifestyle you could possibly imagine.
And you get more food.
And if you want to lose weight,
you get food. You get to eat on this. I know it's not a diet. It is my lifestyle. I eat what I want to eat within the foods that, and there's so many. You know, I thought about this one day. People will say, I don't know that I can get rid of meat and dairy out of my diet. Have you ever tried to take fruit and vegetables out of your diet? Because there's a lot more variation in our fruits and vegetables than there are in meat and dairy. So you're very restricted and limited when you eat just those foods. Without the potatoes, without the rice, without the pasta, without the beans, without all the vegetables, the greens, legumes, everything, what is there to eat with your food? And could you really, now you used to eat meat.
Yeah.
Could you sit down and just eat steak and nothing else? And eat that all the time?
Sure.
Was you happy with that?
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's, you know, because once again, I would be accustomed to it.
You'd be accustomed.
You know, you've got to have your taste buds have to change. You need to, you know, it's really an addiction. You know, are you addicted to meats? Are you addicted to cheeses? Are you addicted to milk? You know, I guess right now, I'm addicted to starches. I'm addicted to fruits. I'm addicted to vegetables. You know,
well, hey, why don't we cook something really addictive in the kitchen?
Yeah. Oh, I'll show you how to make things addictive.
Okay, let's do that.
We have the science to know exactly how to make food as addictive as possible, which is one thing you don't want to do, because once again, if you make food so addictive, even if it's vegan, healthy food, people are going to eat more and consume more, and they're going to eat more calories. So we still need that portion control. Portion control is one of the biggest issues we have in America. So,
oh, I'll say something about that when we come back, but I know we need to get in the kitchen and cook, so we'll be right
let's
back.
Do it. Hi, Mark Anthony here, and I'm with the infamous Melody Prettyman again, and she is well known all over the country. I've done cooking shows on worldwide television. We both have many, many times. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
We got some fun recipes today.
We do.
We really do.
Let's have fun in the
I know.
kitchen.
Crazy things.
Crazy things.
And today I just wanted to share with people how to make some chips that are less expensive than at the grocery stores and don't have all those chemicals.
That is awesome. Love it.
You've done these before?
Yes, I have.
Don't try this at home, kids. Stand back.
Stand back.
All right, these are just basic corn chips. They're the corn tortillas that you would get in the grocery store, and they're really rather inexpensive. And all I'm gonna do is we're gonna just put this into 6 slices like that. We're just kind of slicing it like a pie, like that.
Like a deck of cards.
It really is, it really is. And my ingredients here, I'm using nutritional yeast flakes. I'm using some tomato powder, which is really good. It's a little expensive, but goes a long way. I've got some garlic, onion, and salt.
All right.
So those are my key ingredients. And all I'm gonna do, let me spray my pan here real quick, just so I'm...
Now, I know you're gonna use oil on that, but in comparison to the oil that they use in the grocery store, chips that you purchase on the shelf, they're deep fried, and so they just absorb. They're nothing but greasy tortilla chips is what they are.
They really are. In fact, most of them are running 50 to 70% calories from fat.
And hydrogenated oil on most of them.
Yeah. And the partially hydrogenated is the one you really want to watch out for. That partially hydrogenated, they get that in a lot of the cereals and everything.
What is the partially hydrogenated? What is the difference in it? The temperature?
It's it's actually a different process that they developed, and anything that gets processed more seems to have the problem. Especially in the peanut butter, that's where you get the partially hydrogenated, and it keeps things from separating.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm just laying out the chips, and then I'm gonna go like this with a little coating, because that's where my spices are gonna go.
Okay.
But I thought, with you being so oil-free, that you could create something that does not have this oil spray on it. And even with the oil on it, I'm still running maybe 15% calories from fat.
Correct.
Rather than.
You are. It's a lot less fat this way, less processing. So this would be, even if you're on a low fat diet, this would work perfectly. For me, I still have weight to lose, so I'm trying to eliminate the oil from my diet.
So all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add, woo!
You got them on there good.
Wait, aren't we supposed to cut and take 2 and take 3?
No, not us, Mark. We know how to do it the right way.
Okay, but all I'm gonna do is add all these ingredients together here.
Okay.
And so you'll have, that's gonna be my blend.
Okay, now I'm just adding a little bit of garlic to mine. I love garlic. It's good for high blood pressure. It's good for so many things. It's an antioxidant as well. Mm-hmm. And onion powder. Put a little onion powder in mine. And you know, for me, Mark, I also am very careful in my sodium as well. I'm not saying you have to eliminate sodium from your diet, but
I'm just spilling stuff everywhere.
But I've had to, you know, with hypertension and some heart disease, I had to eliminate it for a while. So that's the only reason why I have it out of my diet. Oh, he's got all these wonderful spices. I mean.
Yeah, what are you using there? Do tell.
I am using, so far, I've got onion powder, garlic powder, and I've got dill. I love dill. Dill is really good. And the reason why I want to use some of the dill is because we are going to place this on our chips after I've dredged them in lemon juice. That's what's going to hold, instead of the oil, it's going to hold the seasonings right on it. And I'm not even going to put any salt on mine, just because I'm going to have so much lemon juice. And I think I'm going to use a little bit of Bragg's liquid amino. So let's.
And that's a salty flavor too.
That is a salty flavor. Not as much sodium as your typical like soy sauce.
Some of those spices over there are a salt base too, so you might want to take a look at them. Now that I got one side done, I'm actually going to flip these over.
Are you?
Do the same on the other side.
Now normally I'd have parchment paper down, but that's okay. We're going to do it this way. I'm going to take a few of Mark's.
You want me to oil the pan at least?
No.
Ooh, she really likes to live on the edge.
No oil.
Come on.
Oil free, Mark. Oil means no. No oil means no oil.
I'm a moderation kind of guy. I just don't want a massive amounts of oil, because it does increase your cholesterol levels. And
it does, but you know, when I heard Dr. Esselstyn speak about heart disease, obesity, which, I mean, we have a high rate of it in my family. I lost my dad at 56, a brother at 45, and a brother at 55. Ouch. With type 2 diabetes and congestive heart failure, which could have been eliminated with a lifestyle change. So I have to be extremely serious, but when he said moderation to people like us who have some of these diseases is like a house on fire. So every time you add moderation, it's like adding a teaspoon of gasoline to the house on fire. So I've got to put my house fire out. So basically that's why I'm so strict about the oil in my diet.
Melody's house is on fire.
Melody's house is on fire. She wants to put out the fire.
Okay, mine is ready to go. So I think I'm just going to spray this one, and I'll do one more while you're still working on that.
Mark, what about a barbecue? You know, barbecue used to be when I used chips, and I always say the Lay's potato chip, you know the logo they got, can't eat just one. Well, they watched me eating that.
Well, and here's the interesting part, okay, and we've talked about addictions before, but the reason that you can't eat just one is because they have an actual addiction, scientific addiction.
Sugar, salt, and oil, isn't it?
Right, they have the exact combinations of sugar, salt, and oil, which makes it trigger your endorphins, so you'll desire that product. And even when I'm cooking, I will do that sugar, salt, and oil and tell people about it and say, here's my addiction. I'm going to do the sugar, salt, and oil, so they know what I'm talking about. But you just definitely have to have a flag of concern when you're eating those type of products.
And Mark, I mean, the chips that we're doing today, and mine is actually going to have more of a like vinegar.
Zesty maybe?
Yeah, because of the dill and the lemon juice. But a person can use any seasoning that they want to on these. They're not limited to what we're showing them. You can use anything, you know, whatever you like.
Okay, and then you were talking barbecue. I got Caribbean, I got mesquite. Let me
Yes, oh yeah.
do the mesquite. And take a look at this. You can see these little clumps here. A lot of people think they don't want to buy it because it's like that.
Oh, that's cool.
But look, watch this puff up. It actually has higher moisture. There's more bang for the buck when you've got that type of spice. So yeah, I love finding those little clumps in it. Higher oil content is what it is.
Mark, when you make your chips like this, do you make them in bulk and freeze them? Put them in bags and freeze them so you can have them?
I haven't.
I have.
Does that work?
Well, it works if you don't eat them all.
Oh, wow.
I like chips. I eat them because I'm a dipper.
Uh-huh.
I like to dip things, so whether it be vegetables or chips, but this is a good way to do it.
Well, we're making these for an event this weekend that we've got some people coming over, and so they will consume them, I'm sure. Ooh, this smells so good. So yes, you can find lots of really good spices out there that are blends as well. That almost would taste a little ranchy flavor too with that.
It does. Oh yeah, because the main components in ranch is dill, onion, and garlic.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm just going to get these flipped over and finish this spice.
I can add to mine.
Did you flip them over or no?
Oh yes.
Okay. And probably with the spices too, it's not going to stick to the back of the as much as it would if it was just flat.
Now, how long do you bake yours in the oven, and what temperature do you use, Mark?
Today we're going to do it at 375, which is a little hotter. And after about 10 minutes, I'm going to flip them over.
So it's a short process.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's usually 10, 12 minutes and it's done at 400 degrees. But I'm going to kind of just slow it down a little bit at 375. 10 minutes, we're going to flip it over, see how they're doing. Now, the one thing you want to pay attention to when you're cooking these, do not cook them with your feeling them. You need to cook them with your eyes, because you're going to look at them and say, oh, they're done. And then you're going to feel them, and it's going to be a little flexible, and you're going to say, no, I need to cook it longer. And if you cook it longer, it's going to get too dark, and then it's going to look burnt, it's going to taste burnt. So you cook it with your eyes where it's golden brown, and it might still have a little flexibility, but as it cools down, it's going to harden up. And so you have to cook it with your eyes and not by feeling it like we do a lot of the foods.
You know, people do that with cookies. They overbake them because they think, oh, they're soft, and they take them out and they're really done.
Yeah.
Or they'll keep them in for a while and they're really done.
375 degrees for about 10 minutes. We're going to flip them around, and that should do it. And we'll actually move the pans around too to get them adjusted. So.
Look at this.
And these just came out of the oven. Still
hot?
Not too bad. Not too bad. But you'll see how they've got a little play to them. See how it's got some play to it?
Look at this, Mark.
And that's what
Just
happens.
like a crispy chip.
But look at, I can actually bend this
because it's still warm.
without even breaking. So your mind is going to say, ooh, it needs to be cooked a little longer.
No.
But you just let it go, just be patient. Look at this one. See how it really just bends like that.
Right.
But in a few minutes,
And that's perfect.
it will be hard. And I'll show you the bottom ones. Now you've got yours. What did you do on yours?
I put almost like a ranch, but I put onion and garlic and dill, and then I dredged them in lemon juice with no oil. I didn't even put oil or spray down on my tray, as you can see. And you just wait when they come out of the oven. Maybe wait just a minute and then pull them off, and they won't stick to the pan. But you don't want to try to pull them off when it's still hot, because then it's moist and it's going to stick to the bottom of the pan. But look at this, Mark. Look, there's a little sticking there, but with no oil whatsoever. Did you try one?
And these we had them on 375 degrees. It did take 10 minutes. Did a flip on them, spun them around, and then another about 10 minutes, 8 minutes.
Yeah, they did not, they didn't do 18 minutes total,
Yeah,
did they?
maybe 15, 17. And the one did take a little longer to cook, that last one. So, but they're good. Look at, yeah, they're crisp. Ooh,
I know. What do you think?
that is so good.
Try the little ranch with no oil, salt. Neither one.
This one was the mesquite one.
Oh yeah, that was my favorite because I love barbecue.
Now let me tell you, this was only half of those chips, that bag of chips. Remember that thing we had that was the corn?
The tortillas.
Tortillas.
The bag of corn, the tortilla is about this thick.
That's about $2.
And so at the most.
Yeah.
And this is half of that. The other
So-
half we have, we haven't used them yet.
Now, this bag here is only half full, which
Right.
would be,
They go by volume.
which costs $4.
Uh-huh.
So it's about 1/3 the price, 1/4 the price to do them like this than this to buy these chips.
Read the nutritional fact panel. That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
This is what you want to hear. Calories is 160. Calories from fat is 90. So this is about 60%.
60% fat.
Calories from fat.
Yes. And what is the serving size on that?
1 ounce. So there's 10 portions in here. And I'll
Portions.
I guarantee you.
And what's it say? Approximately how many
Calories?
chips? Normally it'll say approximately.
24, but they're smaller.
Yeah, these are small, but what I'm saying is when you figure out the ratio, calories, fat, sodium, what's the sodium? 135 milligrams for 24 small chips, which is probably not even 1/8 of a potato.
Right.
When they're sliced like they are and deep fried. Look what you're getting for the amount. I bet you there is not 120 calories in this bowl.
Because you don't have the oil, especially these, right?
These have no oil, so there's no fat, and these have just minimal what Mark sprayed on the bottom and top. So totally, that's really good, isn't it? No sodium either. So depending on your diet, whether you're sodium free, whether you're oil free, sugar free, because a lot of these even have sugar in them.
It's a zesty ranch. You got the dill and you got the zesty from the lemon. You can really taste the lemon in
Oh,
there.
I love it.
So that easy.
It
I'm
is.
telling you. We're here to show you the intelligent way to cook in the kitchen, the easy way to cook in the kitchen, and what we teach you is how to save money, how to save time, and how to save your health, because that's the most important thing, is to get physically healthier. And you're not going to get physically healthier when you continue consuming these processed unhealthy products. That's why we talk about whole foods. Stick to those whole natural foods. And things like this is very simple. It's not a real big processed item.
No, it isn't. And depending on what you eat with it too, there's so many healthy dips that you can use with this too. I mean, we've showed them.
Yeah.
We've had programs
Yeah.
on that as well.
Just go to melodiprettyman.com. You'll find them. So
And what is it, Chef?
markanthony.com. Yes. So thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you share these with your friends, and we will see you next time in the kitchen.
Goodbye.
Hi, Mark Anthony here to share with you the doctor of the day. I've got different doctors that are part of my top 10, and today I just wanted to share with you one of those doctors that if you don't have him on your list, you're really missing out on an education and an intelligence to live a healthier life. And let me share you, Dr. McDougall. If you do not know about Dr. McDougall, this entire program was worth this one moment. Now, what you want to do is go to the Dr. McDougall website. And this is Dr. McDougall's website right here. And let me tell you, he has got a lot of information here. I mean, a lot of information. And I just want to share with you just a couple quick things here. He's got education, health and science, success stories, recipes right here. He's got a whole bunch of recipes on there too. Not sure how good they are. I haven't tried them out. I'll have to take a look at those sometime. Different programs. There's a 10-day live-in program. They've got some 3-day programs. Starch solution certification. That's an interesting one. Of course, travel. He does a couple different trips that he brings a lot of his people to different parts of the country, to the world. And of course, books. Here's the interesting part. Check this out. In his shop, he has books, DVDs, podcasting, some apparel, and then a cookbook app. But you'll notice he's not selling you any pills. One of the things that I always hesitate on is if I ever see doctors that are selling you a miracle pill to cure you from all your illnesses, I just stay away from them because that's usually what they do. Doctors should never ever sell pills or remedies. I call them carnival doctors because they'll say, oh, they'll fear you, fear you, fear you, but here's my miracle drug that you need. And then everything that they ever look at is designed to sell their product. And they will ignore truth and go after whatever fudging, whatever manipulations that they can to sell you that product. And the information coming to them is altered because of their sales of one particular home remedy or whatever it might be. So anyway, he's not selling any of that. Dr. McDougall right here. Connect. Now this is where I want you to go. This is Dr. McDougall's website, and it's Dr. McDougall, McDougall, drmcdougall.com. And then go to the connect button and then come right down here to the newsletter and just click on that. We can click on this right now for you. Put your information in there for a newsletter, and then he'll send you a monthly newsletter that really has probably the best information I've found of anybody out there. So you definitely want to do that. And a couple other things that are pretty interesting. They've got discussion boards here so you can get into forums on discussions with other people. And I thought that was rather interesting. Upcoming talks. So there you go. It is amazing the things he has up here. And I'm not sure what he has. Let's just try something out here. Here's the discussion board. You've got the connect board. So there's a whole bunch of good information here. So anyway, go through that because really, I mean, this guy is definitely one of the best doctors about eating a plant-strong lifestyle. He's the author of the book, The Starch Solution, which shows you how you need to eat more starches in your diet. And I've been saying this for years and years and years, and finally somebody's come out with a book, an intelligent book, showing the facts about why you should eat a starch, plant-strong lifestyle. And so there you go. That's our doctor for the day, and we'll see you next time. Hey, Mark Anthony here, making some veggie crackers today, and just getting a little cutting up here. I like doing these veggie crackers because it helps me get rid of leftovers. And yeah, when your peppers start to get a little shriveled up like this, it's like, what do I do with them? Well, you can just chop them up and turn them into something different. And a lot of people, they just waste their food. It just gets more and more broke down, and then they just kind of wait until it's like a Chinese inspection. If you've ever heard of Chinese inspection before, what they do is they've got a pallet full of lettuce that they're not sure whether or not they're ready to inspect it yet. And by the time they get around to inspecting it, there's nothing left to inspect. So that's why they kind of, and I suppose you could say that about anything, but yeah, that's a Chinese inspection. So you don't want to have that going on in your refrigerator. You know, use the food. When you put that healthy food in there, use it. And if you can't find things to use it, you can always chop it up and freeze it for one. And
I'm actually going to make veggie crackers with it. And you can see here, this is where I've got 3 different equal parts onions, peppers, and carrots. And we're just going to put these right in the food processor here. And let me get all these in here. We got so much going on today. It's like, I got to get back in the kitchen though. So here we go. We're going to put all these in here and give these things a quick little blend. It's not going to take too much. Just like that, because this is actually going to end up being flour. That's right. So you just put it on a pan, and I gave it a little spray here, but we're just going to put it on a pan like this, kind of spread it out. This is going to go in the oven, really on about 300 degrees for an hour or 2. And we're going to probably give it a stir halfway through, but this goes in the oven, and then after it's dried, we're going to process it and turn it into flour. And that's what we're going to make our veggie crackers with. So you're going to love this. Stay tuned, and we'll see you right after these get done. All right, the peppers, onions, and carrots are out of the oven. And I'm just going to scrape this down a little bit. Just want to be careful not to get this stuff shooting everywhere when you scrape it down. And looks pretty good. You don't want to overcook this. This was actually in the oven at 300 degrees for 1 hour, and it was done. So it didn't take near as long as if you got cubes and that type of thing. But that looks pretty good right there. Now, what we've got here is some ingredients for our veggie crackers. And a few different ingredients. We've got our flavor right here. We've got our flour and baking soda right there. And then we've got our addiction. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to addiction, sugar, oil, and salt. So here's our addiction: sugar, oil, and salt, quarter cup of oil, and then just a tablespoon of sugar and a tablespoon of salt. So if you don't know about addictions, those 3 ingredients can pretty much make anything addictive as long as it's in the exact combination. We'll hit this up with some water. I'm going to do a half a cup now, and then I'm going to save a little bit just in case I need more. And so this is our addiction right here. And then we get to add our other ingredients. We'll get some flour in here, a couple cups of whole wheat flour. And just to share with you here real quick, whole wheat flour, this is actually white whole wheat flour. See, a lot of people don't understand that white flour is okay as long as it's whole wheat. There's hard red winter wheat, there's brown wheat, there's red wheat, there's buckwheat, there's white wheat. There's lots of different types of wheat. What you want to stay away from is those bleached type of wheats. Now I do have, here's my flavor. Here's my baking soda. Let's get that in there real quick. We got to mix that in. Okay, let's get that mixed in real good. Now, I've got some more flavor here that I'm going to incorporate. Of course, onion and garlic, tablespoon of each of those. This right here is tomato powder. Tomato powder will work wonders. And I've got a tablespoon of tomato paste. If you don't have the tomato powder, it's expensive and it's hard to find. Even a lot of Whole Foods and places like that don't carry it. And then I've got a tablespoon of Italian seasoning, which I made from scratch. And just like this, now we're gonna get this baby mixed up. And we're just gonna turn this into a dough. That's our whole purpose right here. I'm gonna add just a little bit more water, and because we are making a dough. crackers, vegan crackers that are actually halfway healthy for you. They've got a little bit of sugar and salt and oil in it, but I'll tell you, it's a lot better for you than that garbage that you get in those processed packaged foods. I mean, those packaged foods is just what is torturing everybody out there. And then, of course, we've got our peppers, onions right here. And I'm not even going to use all of them. I don't think I'm going to use all of them. Actually, I'm okay. I had a half cup of peppers, a half cup of onions, and a half cup of, and I will use all of them. We're doing pretty good on that. Okay, now I'm going to grab my gloves here. I love working with gloves. Keeps my hands from getting dirty. Because now comes the fun part. And grab a little bit of flour here. And we're just going to dust our table a little bit. And get this out here so we can start really working with it. The whole trick to this is you want it as dry as you can, because that's going to take less cooking time. Now, if you have too much moisture in your product, that's okay. It's just going to take longer to cook. So as long as you can kind of understand the concepts, if it's really wet, it's just going to take another 10 or 15 minutes of cooking time. So, but look at that. That's really feeling really good. And that's what you're looking for. It's a cracker, so we don't want to get too carried away with it. But we do want to make sure everything's incorporated. And I think that'll do right there. So, now let me grab a little bit. I know I'm going to use it here in just a minute. Now I could do this in 2 processes, or I could do it in 1. So let's just try doing it all in 1 shot. And if you remember, whenever I'm rolling something out, I turn the product rather than turning the wheel. Because if you keep turning the wheel, you're going to end up with a spot that's in the middle there that's dry. And it's going to make the dough stick to the center. So that's why you're better off just kind of circling the product like this. And then you won't have that problem. Now here's the other trick to making this, because the thinner you make the dough, the thicker, or the thinner your chip is going to be, the crispier your chip is going to be. So you can really determine what you want here. If you want a really thick cracker, you would actually, stop 10 seconds ago. And if you want a thin cracker, a crispy cracker, then you're going to have it go thinner. So you can do it any way you want. It's just a matter of what you prefer. And I think we're about there for this one. Of course, now the longer cooking time is going to be affected too by how thick it is. A thinner cracker is going to take less time to cook as well. Okay, so I think that's about it right there. We're going to do it right like that. Okay, let's get a pan sprayed. Might use 2 of these. And then we can just chop this up any way you want. So you can go with big crackers, little crackers, whatever kind of crackers you want. So we can do them like that. And then some people will just go like this. And just put them right on your pan, like that. And these would be good just like this. Really simple. I'm gonna do them all at once. Boy, does this smell good. The aroma, and I haven't even cooked them yet. So I know it's gonna turn out great. But they don't have to be perfect either. Some people think that you have to have all this perfection in the kitchen. And I'll tell you what. So if you want to do a little bigger cracker, you can go about this size, like that. You can also angle cut. If you did angle cuts like this, you're going to get a different look. And even get one of those scalloped blades that you use for pastry. You can actually scallop all the edges if you wanted. So you could diamond cut them if you wanted. You know, whatever kind of shapes you want, you can just play around with this. Or you can just do natural. So, but I just like to throw it all together and we'll see how it comes out. One thing I'm not into is, oh, it has to be so perfect. You have to have every little corner just like this and just like that. And I work with some of these foreign chefs that think, oh, there's only one right way to do everything in the kitchen. And I'm like, no, there's 100 right ways to do everything in the kitchen. And so, of course, I remember working for some of the restaurants years ago, and there was a right way to do things, a wrong way to do things, and then there was a Vegas way to do things. So that's the way we always thought about it. Okay, just like that, we're gonna take our fork here, woo, and just give them some stabs. And it's always good to put a couple stabs in them. Just make sure you don't stab your finger. That's the whole trick to it. And but it does help get the air kind of circulating through the inside of it. And you'll notice a lot of times I'm crisscrossing my pans like this. That's a good thing to do. These are a little thicker here. We got a couple little thicker ones too. So you can do thick ones, thin ones. You could do these so thin, I mean just paper thin, where they're really lightweight and it's real fluffy. These are actually going to be a little bit thicker, so might take a little longer to cook. We're actually going to put this in the oven at about 400 degrees for 15 minutes. Should be done. Shouldn't take that long, maybe 20 with these little thicker ones. So we'll get these in the oven and then we'll see you back in just a bit. Okay, these are done. Woo, look at them. Got a little darkening on the back side there I can see, but they are pretty crisp and done. And I actually, 10 minutes into it, I went in there, switched the pans, rotated them around, and I pulled a couple out just to show you what they turned out like. And look at this, look how soft it is. I'm telling you, you could actually use this for a sandwich, a panini, man. And what a fantastic flavor. I'm telling you, the flavor will just blow you away. And wow, a lot of that's the tomato powder too. But that easy. And you've got your chips here. It's like a homemade crackers. They're going to have a little different texture than a real cracker, and I would actually do them a little bit thinner if you're going to have them, you know, for people who really aren't accustomed to eating real food and they're used to eating that generic stuff at the stores. You might want it a little bit thinner, but just roll it out even more, roll it out even more. You can get it down to below 1/8 of an inch, and it'll really have a crispness to it. So, because this stuff here, it's going to have a little snap to it. And don't be afraid to pull this out while it's still a little bit soft, because after it cools down, it's going to tighten up, more moisture evaporates, and it's going to harden up even to a crisper level. So anyway, that's how easy it is to make homemade veggie crackers that taste fantastic. Mark Anthony, and we will see you next time in the kitchen. Now, I know some of you out there are discouraged. You're looking at yourself saying, I can't do this. Well, maybe you can't do it, but I know somebody who can. And a lot of times, the more people are saying, I can,
that's when they have problems because they're doing it instead of a higher power. I think you all know the Philippians 4:13 or 4:17, 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Well, you got to look at this scripture a little differently. You know, the original meaning of that scripture is not I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It's I do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Isn't that a huge difference? See, society and Satan has slipped in with the I can. So it's all about self. I can do all things. And when the actual meaning is I do all things through Christ who strengthens me. What a huge difference that is. And when you apply that to the transformation of your health, you will have amazing success because it's not you doing it, it's Christ doing it, and you are the vessel. So all you got to do is listen to him, take action to what he's telling you to do, and he will transform your life. We'll see you next time. Just a reminder, our books are available on the website. We've got Vegan Simplicity available. We've got Melody Purdyman's book available, Simply Yummy. Really good, great recipes in that book. Simply incredible, 400 pages, full color. And our newest edition is the Baby Steps to an Amazingly Healthier You. And this is a great 12-part DVD, has 4 discs in there, and it has a really great insight about how to take those steps one step at a time and start getting healthier. And so this is one that I think you'll really enjoy. And all these are available, chefmarkanthony.com, and we'll see you next time.
Hi, I'm Abby, and I'm going to help Chef Mark make a banana waffle quesadilla.
You're going to help me again?
No, you're going to help me.
Oh, okay. Now I got to share something with you here. If you've seen my recipes and everything, you've seen my banana wrap. Abby took that idea home and went the extra mile and took my recipe, took my banana wrap, and kicked it up a huge notch. And this is called a banana waffled quesadilla. I don't know where you come up with these ideas. I mean, just genius. And so where do we start?
Well, first, you got to get that all hot, and it is.
Okay.
Well, first, we need to mix this hazelnut butter spread thing with the peanut butter.
And all you're doing is just thinning down this peanut butter a little bit.
Yeah. And thickening it up the hazelnut spread.
Yeah, because the hazelnut's just a little runny. And basically what this would be is a substitute for Nutella, right? Mm-hmm. Because Nutella's got all the animal products. What do you think? Is that about right?
Maybe a little bit more.
A little bit more? Okay. Oh, it's pourable.
Yeah.
Okay, stop right there.
Okay.
And I've got my wet towel right here. Okay, got it?
Yep. Now we're just gonna spread it on these quesadilla.
Okay. And let's grab something for me to get this out of here with. And
like this?
Yeah, anything like that'll work. So I can just probably put half on each one of these, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this fork isn't quite
convenient.
Working. Yeah, as good as I'd like it to. So you could use peanut butter in here. You could use chocolate. Coconut might be good in here.
Oh, yeah.
Raisins, maybe? Mm-hmm. See, now I'm taking her recipe and kicking it up a notch. Hey, that's the way chefs work. We work together to create new and exciting things all the time. Okay, and you want me to do this one? And so all we're doing is, you don't want to go all the way to the ends, but you want to get it kind of out there, huh?
Yeah. A little bit on the ends is okay.
I got a little extra here.
It'll seal. A little bit on the ends is okay so that it can seal together.
Okay.
While we put it in the waffle iron.
Okay, gotcha.
And I'm just gonna spread all the fruit around Not specific a pattern or anything. It's just I'm spreading it around.
Okay. Oh, am I supposed to be doing this one? No.
Yeah. You can do both sides.
Really?
Yeah.
I might have too much here.
Nah.
It can be thick, huh?
Yep. And you can put anything in here. Like, I tried it with strawberry and it was also sweet, but that last moment we thought raspberry because raspberries are also sour, like some strawberries. So they can also be sweet.
And then we're gonna put these babies together.
Yep, and you have to spray them down.
Here we go. Yep, boom.
Then, yeah, you just spray it.
Spray this.
Yeah.
I'm thinking spray this.
Yeah, spray that too.
Let me spray this a little bit. And then I'm gonna go like this. I don't think I can turn this thing around though, can you? Do you turn it around?
Well, that one is a little full and a bigger thing.
Watch this. Don't try this at home, but I'm just thinking you need to have that oil on there. So, okay, like that?
Like, you can rip off or cut the edges so that it'll...
Do you want it spun around?
Sure, if you can. You know what? Just leave it like that. It's gonna be
Really
fine.
tight. All right, I'll just sit on it like this because you want it pressed, right? Mm-hmm. So it all depends what size waffle you have as to, or
thing.
Tortilla?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tortilla shell.
As to if it's gonna fit in there or not.
Yeah.
Or you can slice
And
it.
if you have extra bananas, you can also top it with bananas, raspberries, and a little mint sprig.
So we're gonna let this go for 2 or 3, 4 minutes, and then take a look at it.
When it's golden brown.
Okay. All right, what do you think? Is that about done for you?
Yep, perfect.
And, whoo, this is hot.
It's oozing.
It is. It's good.
This is why I get little itty bitty tortillas to do it, so that it doesn't ooze as much.
So the little tortillas work better, huh? Look at that, it's all crisped up though. Okay.
So you can just cut it in half.
And should I just cut it right on the, like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's not oozing out the center, so that's good.
Yeah. Okay.
And,
You just
right
put it in. Yeah.
And here. Mm-hmm. So by theory, I could actually make it the size that it needs to be. Mm-hmm. And that will help. Are you plating up here? Like
Yeah, I'm plating.
Making a decoration?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And now you're going to make it look fancy.
Mm-hmm.
We're becoming artists. I am very autistic. There we go. Oh, the mint. You found my mint tree.
Yeah.
Go ahead, finish it up. We got the mint tree over at the grocery store. They had mint in the containers that was $4. And I'm just going through with the cart, and they had these little mint trees that were $2, $1.95. And it actually had more mint on it than the actual containers had mint in it. So I figured we can just use that. I washed it up last night, and hopefully it'll continue growing more and more mint all summer long. Oh, you are becoming an artist here. So is this what you do at home? You just play around the kitchen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't garnish it, but I wanted to this time.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, at home you just eat it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
My family tore this apart when I did it at home. Ta-da!
All right, so just like that, Abby kicks up my recipe for banana wrap into a banana waffled quesadilla. So there you go. This is Mark Anthony with Abigail Fortier showing you amazing things that you can do in the kitchen. And we'll see you next time.
wow and yummy. You know, Mark, before we took the break to go into the kitchen to do some cooking, it's funny because I ran across an article that I absolutely loved. Do you know the only species on the earth that has a problem with weight are the species that practice portion control?
Really?
Yes. Yes, your dogs, your domestic pets, and humans.
They practice portion control.
We practice portion control, and yet we have a weight problem. But if you take the animals out in the kingdom who eat when they're hungry, they have no obesity. Somebody said, well, what about an elephant? Elephant was made to be big. That's their normal size. Yeah. But if you look at that, how many times have you seen animals, monkeys or anything that is obese unless we portion control and feed them? But it's domestic animals and ourselves. That's
in the zoos. It's feeding time in the zoo.
I mean, I just thought that was amazing. Because look, I've seen cats and dogs so obese that they couldn't walk.
Yeah. Bottom line is we just eat way too much food.
We eat way too much food, and we eat the wrong type of food. So hopefully the information that we brought for you today, that you'll be able to maybe get some of these books and read them and watch our programs.
Absolutely.
You know, YouTube, we're out on YouTube. They can tune in. They can come over to our website and find out more information. You can even contact us. Maybe we can come into your church or organization and do a seminar.
Yeah, because that's half the battle is learning the facts. And there's so much messed up information out there, and that's why I really like to do the homework and really give you the information that you need to have, and just keep taking those steps, and you'll get healthy too. Just keep taking those steps.
Well, hey, I think this is the end of another program with Mark and Melody here at The Whole Message, and hope to see you back soon.